This is Matt from MGMT Boston, and today I'm with Checo, the co-founder and CEO of OtterMon, a seed stage startup. Checo, what are you and your team building?
Well, we're essentially building a solution that helps companies keep their websites online. We're building logic that allows them to see how their sites could go down so that they can prevent outages instead of responding to them faster.
Yeah. Now, a lot's been going on this year, like incorporating the company and starting it. As you've ramped up throughout the year and now heading into 2026, like what are you and your team focused on? What are you excited about that you want to share with the startup community here?
Well, the big thing for us is actually developing the logic that can look at all of a customer's monitoring data and tell them, look, these are your issues, these are your risks, these are your optimization opportunities. So many companies out there are spending millions of dollars trying to understand why their sites keep going down.
Sure.
And the costs keep going up, but the incidents keep increasing. So they're not seeing a return on investment. So what we're doing right now is we're making sure that we're able to mature our alpha build, which is getting a lot of praise from prospective customers, big and small, into something that can actually run at any scale. So we're working on that in the coming winter and then into the spring. And we're also working on a pre-seed raise that's coming in November, actually later this month, so that we can fund that innovation and get to the enterprise milestone.
Yeah, that's really important. Now, you've had an awesome career, whether it was almost like a decade at Acquia, if I'm not mistaken, and other things that you've done to now building your own startup. Like, what are some lessons for builders that you would pass back to other members of the Boston startup community about what it takes to reach scale in general, and then also, from an early stage founding capacity that you would pass back?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lessons from my career. The first is just figure out what the problems are.
Sure.
I know that sounds overly simplistic, but there are so many times in our careers where we sit and we look at the problem and people say, well, this is why you won't be able to solve it. It's too hard, it's too complicated, it's too expensive. But in my career, I found that if you identify those problems, you can figure out what their edges are, and you actually do talk to the people who say, this is why it's impossible. You can figure out what the edges of the problem are and design towards an ideal solution. So, that's what we've been done at OtterMon. That's how I progressed up my career at Acquia. But it's also an important lesson for people who are looking at how can I make a difference at the company I'm at right now. I've seen so many people say, I feel powerless. I come in, I do my job, I go home, I feel like I'm not making a difference. And what I say to those folks is the power is always in your hands to identify where there are gaps in the business, in the team's efficiency, in morale, and look for ways to solve those problems. And it's probably going to be incremental. You probably won't get a grand vision achieved in a short period of time, but figure out how you and your unique skill set and insights can build towards that achievement.
Yeah, go solve problems. That's good advice. Now, last but not least, how can we help you? How can we help OtterMon grow into 2026 and beyond?
We're looking for two things right now. We're looking for people who want to participate in our pre-seed round in November. It's already about half pre-committed. We'd love to fill the rest of the round with folks who care about developer tools and AI, data analytics, infrastructure. But also we're looking for people who are just dealing with monitoring pain right now. We love to hear your story. If you're working with Datadog, New Relic, Grafana, CloudWatch, whatever it is, we just want to hear from you and understand how are you using these solutions? Where are they working well? Where aren't they working well? And we'd love to see if there's ways we can collaborate on the ideal solution.
This is Checo from OtterMon, Matt from MGMT Boston, this episode of Lantern. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.